Yesterday, there were two comments which were most interesting.
Okay.
And the first comment was from Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempe.
Yes.
Extremely interesting comment. Now, this was the running mate of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Yesterday, I heard him say that, look, when you start taking contracts from government, when you start making money out of government and so on, you should know that there will be a day of reckoning.
Yes, I've seen that video.
And when that time comes, you should be able to go and answer questions and stop the drama.
Cooperate.
Cooperate. This is NAPO.
Yeah.
He made that statement yesterday, apparently. In direct answer to a question about the arrest of Chairman Wontumi. Then there's an Ashanti regional officer, one of the officers of the party, who also spoke. And he said, what? But NPP, we said we were going to fight Galamsey. Okay? Now, if Wontumi's arrest is about Galamsey, why are we complaining? And that we should have arrested him ourselves and turned him over. This is an NPP man. Two very interesting comments. And the meaning of those comments out there, it can't mean anything else but what they mean. You understand? Very interesting. Now, we're talking about Rambo-style arrest and so on. Chairman Wontumi is the regional chairman of the New Patriotic Party, which claims that its stronghold is Ashanti Kumasi. Now, if you're going to arrest Chairman Wontumi in Kumasi, you're going with an armed man. Does it make sense? Would you arrest him with two people? Would it make sense to do that? So those who are talking about this Rambo style and so on, they should examine the issues well. You understand? Now, if what you are saying is right, it's even the more reason why the team arresting him will be reinforced. I didn't know. You are saying this morning
for 2 weeks.
That it appears that for 2 weeks they've been trying to get him to hand himself in for questioning. And
I heard that from Abbas Nuruddin, who's a...
Okay.
He gave reasons why they should give him some time.
Yes.
Because he said he would be attending some medical and all of those
Master,
things.
it's not at your pleasure. If you are suspected of a crime, your arrest is not at your pleasure. The arresting agency may extend some courtesies to you and so on.
Definitely.
But 2 weeks, Abba, Master.
Oh, this thing never came. I feel now the Abba.
Master, 2 weeks. Why? You know, look, I think that anybody who will be arrested, all arrests must be according to law.
Right.
Those who are being arrested must have their legal rights. They must enjoy their full legal rights. And these things should not be done arbitrarily in order to achieve a political end. But to create the impression that as for some people, they can never be arrested.
No, that impression
That's
has never
a
been
big
created.
problem.
Yeah.
That impression has never been created.
It has been created.
No.
Master,
The day-
I heard
Okay.
your director of communications,
Yes.
Mr. Ahiagba, is it the name?
Richard.
Richard Ahiagba, on TV3, saying that the government has to realize that even though they lost the elections, they have numbers.
Okay.
Listen to him very carefully. Even though they lost the elections, they have numbers. And that they cannot be taken for granted. And whether the government is right or not, they can deploy their numbers.
Okay.
What does that mean?
Oh, but you know,
What does that mean? I mean,
my senior,
what
my senior,
does that
my
mean?
senior.
Yes, sir.
You know, these are statements attributed to Richard. I'm not going.
I
to
heard him.
Exactly.
I
I'm not
heard
going-
him on TV3.
But do you think and believe, from the benefits of hindsight, that that statement is something that NPP as a political party have done or shown by massing up people to go and resist arrest of our people.
Master,
you know,
this
it's condemnable if he said that it is wrong. We can tell him, bro, don't make that statement.
Of communication.
Yes.
Saying whether the government is right or wrong.
Right.
Right or wrong.
Was it during the heat of a demonstration or something?
No.
It was those demonstrations that people make statements.
By TV3. Okay. I saw it.
Okay.
You understand?
I'll verify.
Verify.
I'll verify with him because
Richard
is a fine.
He's an honest man. I don't think that he's going to deny.
I'll find out. He's a fine gentleman.
To say that whether the government is right or wrong, we can deploy our numbers. What does that mean? And you see, you expect the state to be decorous when they are arresting people. And I feel sad commenting about the arrest of Wontumi. So Wontumi is a very close friend of mine.
Really?
Yes. Long before he got into politics.
Oh, okay.
Long before Wontumi got into politics, he was a very close friend of mine.
Oh, okay.
Of course, when he became a politician, he just cut me off completely. I don't care, you understand. But he's been a friend of mine for a very long time.
Okay.
So sometimes when we come and sit here, we are making comments. That's the difficulty we face. This morning I've had to comment about Okudato Ablakwa, who is a very good friend of mine, and so on. You know, so that's my difficulty, and I suppose it's everybody's difficulty. Okay. But you see, when the people who, for some reason, are being invited for questioning and so on, are asking to be treated with respect and so on, it is all right. But they must also learn to treat others with respect.
Avail yourself.
You understand? Now, some of the comments that some of your leaders make about the president, I think are clearly unacceptable. You understand? Yeah, Wontumi has been arrested.
Okay.
If the arrest is unlawful, say that it's unlawful and so on. That Mahama, I'm warning him and so on. What does that mean? I mean, it's clearly unacceptable. Yeah. Clearly unacceptable.
Okay.
Let us, all of us, be decorous. Let us, all of us, work within the law. Right. I mean, last night, around 11 o'clock, I saw videos of people attempting to set Yoko on fire. Where is that coming from? And that is in the presence of leaders of your party.
Oh, really?
Yes. You didn't see those videos?
I've not seen any video.
Fire. You understand?
In fact, I'm told that's why he's been moved away from Yoko to an undisclosed.
Why would you do that?
But you see, Kwesi, it's not about NPP. We've been in this country where people had issues with the Electoral Commission. NDC thugs went to EC, wanted to set EC on fire. So let's condemn.
Is it correct?
No, exactly my point.
But
so
when that happens,
let's condemn.
Right. So if this has happened and we are condemning,
so let's condemn. I'm only saying that it is not.
What you are condemning.
I'm not saying that it is only.
Why?
But it's bad. So
let me do this.
No,
our time is up.
Something happened some time ago.
Yes.
We condemned it.
Yes.
Something new is happening.
Yes.
Don't condemn this alone. No. Go and condemn what has happened in the past. You have already condemned.
We'll go past that.
What is that?
Robert, I think it's wrong. I'll follow up again on what you've said.
Yeah.
And I think we as a political party should send a signal to our followers.
All right.
That you see, this is nothing new.
Okay.
We have prosecuted people under during our regime.
Right.
We've arrested people before.
Okay.
And arrested
somebody in church
so
before. Somebody kneeling before the altar. You want to pick him up.
Our time is up.
But that's what they could find.
Good morning, my brother. I have lived in
now
disbelief.
look at what happened to Tumbuafo.
Look
at what happened to Tumbuafo.
He said, good morning, my brother. I have lived in disbelief since December 7, 2024, until I saw the CD rise to the dollar as commanded by Ato Forcing. I have lived in disbelief since December 7, 2024. Okay, there's a story here which is on the front page of your newspaper, and it has to do with our own, what I call anti-corruption crusader, Professor Kweku Azar, who has been spotlighting what he believes to be the unsustainable and inequitable nature of the gratuities. And he uses the judiciary as a case study. And I notice it's been published by the Inside newspaper, and here it says salaries of EC boss, AG heads of IGBS increased from 34,000 cedis to a whopping 62,000 in 4 years. Now, a renowned US-based Ghanaian lawyer and scholar, Professor Stephen Kweku, popularly known as Kweku Azar, has shared some details of the salaries of heads of independent government bodies including the Electoral Commission of Ghana and the Auditor General's Department. The details showed the salaries of the chairperson of the EC, the Auditor General, the Commissioner of the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, STRAJ, and other IGB heads increased by more than 80% between 2020 and 2024. Yes. Fact. It says the heads of these IGBs were earning over 34,000 cedis per month as salary in 2020. This increased by 4% to about 36,000 in 2021. In 2022, their salary saw a further increase to over 38,000 cedis, which then spiked to 50,000 in 2023, accounting for the increase of about 30%. The EC boss and the other heads of the IGBS saw their salaries increase again by about 23% to over 61,000 cedis in 2024. The salaries went up again by about 2% to over 62,000 in 2024. Kweku Azar criticized the rate at which the salaries of the heads of IGBs increased. He said that while the heads of the independent bodies were enjoying salary increases, ordinary Ghanaians saw no growth in their wages during the same period. Total increase from 2020 to 2024, about 81%. Now compare that to CD depreciation, 2020-2024, 50 to 60%. Real wage growth, basically zero or negative for many Ghanaians. Debt restructuring for ordinary Ghanaians, haircuts on bonds, pensions, and savings. While citizens and pensioners were forced to share the burden and tighten belts, IGBs and surely other Article 71 beneficiaries were quietly awarded backdated raises. Now, he wrote this in a post shared on Facebook, 20th May 2025. Then he says, they get salary arrears, we get austerity. They get adjusted emoluments, we get emergency levies. The other dependent government bodies in Ghana include the National Commission for Civic Education, the Public Services Commission, the National Media Commission, the National Development Planning Commission, the Lands Commission, and the Economic and Organized Crime Office, YOCO. The other independent governance bodies in Ghana include the National Commission for, and it goes on and on and on and on and on and on. And so Google has cited a document approving 2021-2024 salaries for chairpersons and members of independent, and it goes on and on and on and on. So basically what it's saying, the big world of a difference between what the ordinary man on the streets of Accra, ordinary worker is going through, and what our elites are amassing to themselves. And he thinks that we need to really nip this in the bud.
Can you give me the daily graphic?
Yeah, the daily graphic. Okay, that's fine.
There's
Yes.
a very interesting study in the daily graphic of today. You know, and where is this study? This is daily graphic, page 5.
Yes.
And the story is Public Workers in Africa See Wages Fall survey.
Okay.
And it reads, public spending cuts across six African countries have resulted in incomes of health and education workers falling by up to 50% in 5 years.
55%.
Leaving them struggling to make ends meet, according to international NGO Action Aid. The Human Cost of Public Sector Cuts in Africa report, published on Tuesday, found that 97% of the healthcare workers surveyed in Ethiopia, Ghana, Kenya, Liberia, Malawi, and Nigeria could not cover their basic needs, such as food and rent, with their wages. This is today's daily graphic. The International Monetary Fund is to blame for these countries' failing public systems, the report said, as the agency advises government to significantly cut public spending to pay back foreign debt and so on. This is today's daily graphic.
That's a thinking country.
Okay, this is today's daily graphic. You understand? So if under these circumstances, the incomes of some category of public servants doubles
Yes.
in only a few years, it raises alarm. You understand? I mean, what is the moral justification for paying any Ghanaian 62,000 cedis a month and paying another Ghanaian 400 cedis a month? Show me any morality who can justify that.
Qualification?
It justifies that. You think so?
Our special skills, pay me for it.
Please.
Those skills can't be found. It's rare. It's not common. I own it. Pay me good money for it.
You are just saying it to stimulate discussion, or you believe it. Maybe I want to be sure. I want to know who I'm talking to. If you're just saying it to stimulate discussion, fair. But if you believe in it,
they'll tell you. They'll tell you. Those who are earning those salaries will tell you that.
no,
we're
what do you say? What do you say?
No, I think it's unfair. It's unfair.
It's scandalous.
Yeah, it's unfair.
Nothing on earth
It's unfair.
can justify paying somebody 500 cedis a month and paying another in the same situation. They go to the same market and so on, paying another 62,000 cedis a month. And you see, these special skills we're talking about,
Yes.
please, don't. Because the people who do the 500 cedi a month job, the judges cannot do their work. They don't have those skills to do their work. They cannot do their work. You understand? They can't.
They may not be.
They can't. I'm telling you, they can't. You want me to discuss some of those
Some of those judges before they became judges may have been doing something before they became judges. I mean, for instance,
I'm
if you're
not
talking
saying that
about
they
an
were not doing
accountant,
something.
an accountant is paid, say, 500 Ghana cedis at somewhere. The fact that I'm a judge doesn't mean that I can't do the accountant's job.
Did I tell you the jobs they can do?
What can they do?
This is morning television. You want me to tell you the jobs they can do?
No, don't.
Huh?
Don't.
So you know the jobs they can do.
I know, I get that.
So this argument about skills as well, we should drop it.
Okay.
Because their skills, Master, some of the things that people do. I mean, the story is told of a man who works with the electricity company of Ghana. And his mother-in-law is going to the market in the morning and sees him on top of the pole trying to fix some wires as well.
Yes.
And the mother-in-law says, is this what you do for a living? Please calm down. It's not worth it. Climbing that pole early in the morning to go and fix. Master.
So your point is everybody's important. Everybody's job is important. So pay everybody well.
More than that.
Okay.
More than that.
All right.
Every human being needs a certain amount of calories to survive.
True.
Every human being needs a certain level of health care to stay alive. You all need to have clean water and so on.
Yeah.
In fact, if you deny some human beings the right to have a certain quantity of calories per day, you have sentenced them to death.
True.
You have just sentenced them to slow death, not just death, but slow death.
Okay.
You understand? And that is why I'm in full agreement with Professor Kukuaza.
Yeah.
He's raising relevant questions that we need to look at.
He talks about elite capture.
You know, but I won't style it that
And
way.
he started that way.
But there's the need to ensure basic survival, you know, for our citizens. I mean, do we want the situation in the United States of America, where 2% of the population owns 98% of the total wealth of the country? Is that what we want?
Yeah.
2% of the population owns 98% of the total wealth of the whole country. Is that what we are driving towards? So I think we should put the brakes and attempt, try to build a more equitable society. Not be so.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I share in the equitable
We have just 4 minutes.
distribution of wealth. But I was just wondering, Nkwesi, in respect of Kwekwaza's zooming in on the judiciary and their salaries, and who determines the salaries of the judiciary, especially the...
To be fair to Kokwazan, he's not zooming in on the judiciary. He tackles many other sectors.
Okay.
You know.
Because I know their salaries go through a certain process.
Okay.
I think they are Article 71.
One holders, yes,
You know, including your salary.
Absolutely. So it goes through a certain process. You know, so maybe we should be tackling it from that angle, where a committee is set up and then they put up all these kind of allowances.
Okay.
So for a Supreme Court judge, he comes in, this is the decision by a committee that was set up under the Constitution. And what can the Supreme Court judge do? So I think we should be tackling it from that aspect, of course. But I understand the issues about equitability, because I mean, if you're a judge and I am a security guard in the courts, and I realize you are taking 60, 70, 80,000, and I'm taking this about 500, 700 Ghana cedis a month, it leads to all kinds of things. So yes, issue of equitability, I'm all for it. I mean, this goes to the core of, go to work, you work for 8 hours, another person works for 8 hours, and if you look at the disparity, it becomes
too huge.
It's too huge. It becomes a challenge. I'm sure the authorities will be listening and seeing how best they can adjust to reflect at least the living conditions